Last week, we were at the Tricky Triangle and Pocono Raceway for the third and final Northeast race of the season, part of the Northeast Swing. And now we head down south to Richmond, Virginia for Underneath the Lights at the Richmond Raceway for race 6 on the season. It is the Toyota's 250, and we will see of how chaotic this race will be here for some short track racing in Virginia. What's up, everyone? It's the boy on Racing 97, aka Nathan Stapleton here, and welcome to Richmond Raceway for race number 6 on the season. And we gotta see how this one all shapes out. This last week at Pocono was absolutely chaotic. 2 yellows, saw some crazy racing throughout, and saw a few mileage race to the end. And we gotta see how it all goes down here tonight, because we've seen 2 crazy races in a row, and Richmond can be crazy or it can be a little bit calm. So we gotta see how it all plays out. We got the owner of Spire Motorsports once again, Matthew Hubert, up here in the booth, and welcome to Richmond for race 6 on the 2025 season.
Yep, great to be back here at Richmond Raceway. Last time the National Series was here, by the way, 63 laps, similar distance. During the pit cycle there was a caution midway through pit cycles, and some of the guys that stayed out later managed to get through and get the race win, aka Matthew Burnett won that race. Not sure if it's gonna be similar since it's a smaller field size. I'm just hoping it isn't as chaotic as, say, the Cup Series race was here in Season 6.
Yeah, the Cup Series has always been really chaotic here at Richmond, and hopefully that's not the case here tonight. And we gotta see how it all goes down. Like you said, same distance, 63 laps, but there's one thing that's different from the National Series race to the truck race here tonight. We are testing a little bit of a tire here, and the first 15 to 20 laps it would be a few tenths, maybe 2 to 5 tenths, but then after 20-25 laps it would be about 1 to 1.5 seconds to lap 20 to lap 40 on fuel. So that's gonna be interesting. Gotta save the tires here. So knowing that for these drivers, we might see some drivers from the mid-pack work their way up to the front with that tire wear. How do you think it's gonna go about here tonight?
I wouldn't be surprised if someone tries to make it free wide early on to get closer to the Spire Motorsport drivers, the Tricons, and even Young's Motorsports. As it turns out there, Emily York Watson second in the points, and Benny Watson in 4th in the 56 for Timmy L's team.
Absolutely, we gotta see how the tire aspect takes into effect, and we gotta see how the points take into effect, because only 5 races in, but we're starting to see, I think, even though this is a really competitive field, I think we're starting to see some of the top teams and top trucks work their way up to the top of the standings. Juan Garcia has a 8-point lead over Emily York Watson, and then Logan Williams is in 3rd, minus 14. Matthew Burnett, a quiet season, only 1 top 10, but he has an average finish of 11.2, so he must be finishing 11th for 12th most of the time. He's 21 points behind. Benny Watson in 5th, minus 28. Nick Lopez on pole here tonight is in 6th, minus 31. Chris Jericho in 7th in points, minus 33. John Ferron in 8th, minus 34. Nicholas same with Dio, who got 2nd last week at Pocono, plus 11 in positions and points. He is minus 34 as well. And then Carson Miller rounds out the top 10, minus 35. And it is still very, very tight throughout the grid. And like I said, it's very competitive. And really, the top 18, half of the field are only separated by 42 points. So we gotta see how it all goes down here tonight. And there's Nick Lopez, our 6th different pole winner through 6 races. And we gotta see if he can get the win and maybe make it 6 for 6 on race winners here tonight. We got Alexander Roll in the number 71 in second. Third is Chris Jericho in the 77. And Carson Miller, he's had a strong showing so far for Charlie Davenport's team right there. And then the number 2 of Anthony Hernandez and Juan Garcia, our point leader. Duncan won last week's one at the Tricky Triangle, and Aaron Abel in the number 11, Caleb Rose in the number 91, and Emily York Watson will round out the top 10 here tonight. 32 drivers as per normal, and 63 laps, about 40 laps on fuel. And I'm going to give it to you, Matthew. Who do you think will win the Toyota Owners 250 at Richmond?
Now, considering how the season's gone for him, Avery Alford is gonna take a good advantage here. It starting in 11th, so not out, just outside the top 10 there in the 98. But as I expect there, Force Sport does have a good program underneath them with Rogel Dorn.
Absolutely, but very solid start. Sam Dio, he's had some great top 5 ones, but then finished it with some bad luck. Nick Lopez has been consistent. Shane Kane has had a bright spot, and then unfortunately, maybe Alfred has had kind of the short of the stick with the luck. So maybe he can have the luck here go his way here tonight. But it will be Nick Lopez and Alexander Rowe leading us to the green. Race 6 on the season at Richmond Raceway is green, and it is the Toyota Owners 250 at Richmond Raceway. A clean start up towards the front. Everyone minding the P's and Q's. Might go side by side for the race, leading Nick Lopez really lap number 1, be a bonus point towards the championship. He has 2 spotted cars, spotted 12 spot behind him of the 71 of Alexander Rowe and Chris Jericho. Carson Miller as well on the move. Hernandez, Duncan Wood, Caleb Rose on the inside lane. Definitely gonna be where you want to be here tonight at Richmond.
Yeah, and it's nice to see there. Alexander Rowe and Carson Miller were on the outside lane to start this race and got down to the bottom quickly there. And Rowe gets the lead there. Miller gets by the E of Nick Lopez. How about Anthony Hernandez there inside the top 5 there in the 2 car for Rev Racing and Echo Evans Ross, the new team owner there. Very good run considering the lack of success he has in both seasons of JBL Cup Series especially.
Absolutely. The last 2 years have been a struggle for Hernandez. Of course, Season 5 was better than Season 6, but I'm curious where he goes next year in JBL Cup, if he stays or not at RFK. And he really found something towards the end of the season, and especially the National Series, and he's carried that over here in the Truck Series. A little bit 3 right back here with Juan Garcia, Logan Williams, and Aaron Abel. This could be a little bit tight here in 1 and 2, just outside or just inside the top 10. We got Anthony Messi on the move and a route for the inside the top 10. Caleb is having a good one finally, and he needs this because Caleb Rose is 30th in the point standings, and of course at that wicked flip at Oswego. But look at these spotted trucks, and I think Spotted might be the team to beat so far. Juan Garcia has a win, Jericho has a win, and if Rowe wins, well, I want to say he goes wide a little bit. If he wins, that would be all 3 of Road Wild's getting a win, and that would be 6 winners in the first 6 races, but only on lap 8 of 63.
I don't want you to jinx it too early, Nathan, but Alexander Rowe has definitely improved quite a bit from the first 3 races of the season. Daytona is Daytona, so that's obvious. Charlotte got caught up in that big one, and I have no idea what the hell happened at Watkins Glen with the qualifying setup there. But Oswego got a top 5, and I assume he's gonna do well here at Richmond. Juan Garcia finally got down to the bottom, but now Logan Williams is back up top. Santi Messi as well in the 8th position now, as well as Caleb Rose. So good run for those two, considering the start of the seasons they had.
Absolutely. Santi Messi been outshined by his teammate a little bit of Josh Vincent, but he's had some flashes, and that's just how competitive it has been. Basically, everyone has had a moment to shine throughout the first 5, now 6 races here in the Truck Series. And it's like, well, it's starting to pull away from Jericho a little bit. Jericho pulling away from Carson Miller. Hernandez was trying to go back-to-back top 5 ones. And then Nick Lopez, Caleb Rose, Messi, Abel, and Alpha round out the top 10. And like I said earlier, Shane Kane. And maybe he might be good at these short tracks for one of our new drivers on the channel. We ran up one at Oswego, and you know, this is a pavement short track, running ahead of that point leader for the time being. Logan Williams just outside of the top 10. Mendoza, Dewani, Watson, Williamson is Lacey from 11 from back here at Richmond, but only on lap 13. And we're going to see this. Tires are going to matter, and you got to save those stuff for basically after lap 20. Because it will be about a second half of fall off eventually.
And considering they're the top lane there, you don't really want to go there. And see their 10th and 12th place stars there of York Watson and Benny Watson there. Ironic they're outside the top 20 even, or just outside there. And Sam Adio, I'm not sure where Sam Adio qualified there, but 26 is not really too good there, considering he was runner-up at Pocono, ran well at both Glen and Oswego before problems struck. I hope he does better runs there, as Williams got by Garcia, and massive lead there for Alexander Rowe. 1.5 seconds.
Absolutely. It's usually tough way for Sam Leo has been either where he's up front, has that luck, or he just doesn't have speed. And fortunately, that's one of those nights here tonight for the 99 team. And so far, a nice calm start, something that we've not seen in the last couple of weeks here in the Powerade Truck Series. Hernandez all over the back bumper of Carson Miller. Looks like Hernandez is better on the long one here, mentioning the tire part of it. And he might have been saving his stuff for the middle of the one. Gonna get a good one off turn 4. Miller blocks, at least tries to, but Hernandez is gonna try and take third spot away from that 75, but not gonna get there at the time being. Everyone's just single filing out, trying to mind their P's and Q's, but a great one from Messi. And right now, it would be Juan Garcia still as the point leader, leaving here tonight, but we're not even a third of the way through the Toyota 250.
And there's still quite a bit of ways for that 7 truck to move his way through the field. Not quite gonna catch up to this top 5 even there. Great run there for Hernandez, still in the 4th position there. Alfregan by Aaron Abel there for 8th. And back to Hernandez, actually. I believe he was running very well here in the Season 5 Cup race at Richmond before engine blew up, unfortunately. Wonder if he's thinking about that now.
Yeah, he... Uh-oh. Speaking of which, someone just... Oh, no! No!
Oh, come on.
From the race lead, Alexander, you were just mentioning that Hernandez was up front, and he blew up. And now Alexander, he's up front, and now he blows up.
Man, reliability strike. I have no idea what's going on for reliability. I'm just not gonna talk about that.
It's just everybody. The end of Cup and National and this carryover to Trucks, everyone's having a ton of reliability issues, and now look who's up to 3rd and maybe even 2nd. It's the number 2, as what just happened now. The 38 just had an issue as well. And that's another engine.
How is there not a caution for that?
Oh boy.
Man. Now Bradley Ream has an engine going down in the Furry 8. Not sure, but now Chris Jericho has a 2-second lead now over the 75 of Miller there. And Nick Lopez, the pulsar here, trying to get back here potentially by this 2 of Anthony Hernandez. And we're just about that point there where the tire wear is really about to kick in. So he needs to get by here quickly.
Absolutely, and it's really to the point where if you save those stuff, you might see some drivers make some moves throughout the top 5, top 10. Looks like Local News might be one of them in the 17-12, but that is unfortunate. And I don't want to say that this is how Jericho's won this season, but it might be the formula because CMDO was looking strong at Oswego, but he had a problem. And now, well, it was dominant early on, and he has a problem. So, someone's misfortune is Jericho's reward, and that's been the case so far. But back-to-back engine issues early on, and the reliability is really tanking in the last month or two here on the channel. Jericho still out front, Miller in second, but for how long? Because he has Duncan Ward, Nick Lopez, and Hernandez. Nick Lopez slips up. That's going to allow Duncan Ward to get to the inside for a top 5 spot to get the 4th spot. And Duncan's trying to win 2 in a row. And then you got Alfred and Rose. And Alfred, you picked him to win. I think he might have saved his tires a little bit because now he is up to the 6th place spot.
Yeah, it's a good run there for Forsport as a whole. We have Forsport has 3 trucks inside the top 10, back half of the top 10 that is. Shane Kane's in the 10th position for right now. And like I said, short track here, had he started further up at Oswego, he might have had the chance to get the win there later on. But still a good run there. Double headers there for both Alexander Rowe and Bradley Ream.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, tough luck for both of them there. Especially for Rowe. Really feel bad for him.
Absolutely. He's had a lot of bad luck to start the year, 25th in the point standings, and this is looking like this was going to be a race for him to probably dominate. And now is his teammate, Chris Jericho, with a 3-second lead over Carson Miller, and I think Carson Miller might not have the long run truck because every lap that Hernandez, Ward, Lopez, and even Alfred is flying here on these older tires, catching up to these 4. I think Carson Miller definitely does not have a long run truck good time. That's just costing tenths for 3rd, 4th, and 5th on our race leader. Might catch up to that traffic after pit stops here. Unfortunate night. A tough night for Zachary Fitzwater, Summit Oskin, Vesica Burnett. 4th in points having a rough night. Jordan Stout in the back. Not Hernandez. Gutierrez. Jonathan Wong, Eli Bright, and Sam Dio is running now in the 22nd position. So 22nd on up is really tight, but some tough breaks here. Pin Watson did not make it through as Messi has fallen off in the 9-7 on the long one. And amongst all of this, we are about 8 laps away from pit stops here at Richmond.
And okay, now they get by the 75 there, so Hernandez does finally get up to 2nd, but a bit too little too late there for till the first cycle of pit stops there. 4 1/4 seconds there for Chris Jericho on the race lead. He's hoping that what happened in the National Series race doesn't happen here, and that is someone wrecking 3rd pit cycle there. Avery Alford finally cracking the top 5 there past the 75 of Miller. Trying to get by Duncan Ward as well, so great improvement there for that 98 team.
Alfred having one heck of a night, and he definitely has a long one truck, and we gotta see what kind of strategy he goes with, if he can maybe challenge something here. And Definitely seeing a bit more passing here later on in the one than what we saw in the National Series, so maybe we might carry this tire over into next year, kind of trying something here in the Truck Series, able on the move. Garcia to the inside of Shane Kane, trying to get himself into the top 10. Shane Kane is really good at these short tracks, and then Dwayne dominant at Charlotte, should have won that one, but if it wasn't for Duncan Wood. And it is now a 5-second lead for Chris Jericho. Just absolutely out of here. And oh yeah, he definitely has the second fastest lap, and he is just walking out front. We gotta see how it all plays out, but pit stops wrapping in a couple of laps. 5-second lead for that 77.
Yeah, and hopefully things go smoothly there. Strategy is an important thing there. Jericho might afford to pit for the overcut there, but it's hard to tell there. Hernandez looks quick. Avery Alford looks quick here. Even Logan Williams is now up to the 6th position there in the 17 truck, so had not the best luck in the playoff, in the chase rather, in both series. Hopefully he does better here in trucks, but it's gonna take a while to catch up to the Spire trucks especially.
Absolutely, I think Logan Williams is gonna be the man to beat if these spot drivers like Juan Garcia and Chris Jericho want to win this title. It's still very early on. It's only a 16-race season, but we're only race 6, not even halfway through, so still got a lot of time here in this series for season 6. And we gotta see, will Jericho pit this time by? No, not yet. So Jericho's not gonna pit. Hernandez is not. He should be around that range where pit road should be open. And no one is going down pit lane yet. Fairly surprised about that. And maybe they can stretch it a little bit longer than expected. And now a third engine. Vesica just blew up.
That's the 3rd engine failure this race. What is going on?
Oh my goodness. And now Jericho's on pit lane. And now pit road is going to be busy.
This is going to be a bit risky. Pin this early on. If a caution comes out now, you might be trapped a lap down. Or towards the back tail end of the lead lap if you get waved around. But quite a few drivers pin early there. Nick Lopez, Carson Miller, Abel, Juan Garcia. The next group of drivers should be pinned this time by. And there's Hernandez. Bit of contact there between Speedings and Durrani. Avery Alford going really long there in the 98.
And he's the last one, I believe. So I think there was one group and then another. And then I think Alfred is the last one going on the overcut. And we gotta hope and pray that, these guys keep it clean. So far, so good, but yeah, 3 engines in one race. That is kind of interesting to have happened. Duane, I think, had contact on pit lane for him, Avery Alford is in his pit stall. 2 tires and now 4 tires for everyone. You gotta see of how he all shakes out in the 9.
Oh no,
Josh Williamson just had a tire go down.
Please don't stop in the middle of the track.
And that's good, no caution. Oh my goodness, what's happening, Matthew? 3 engines now, a tire. Right after pit lane, and he just pitted too. So I don't know how that happens. But that's gonna cycle out officially as Jericho will take over the race lead once again. And he's gonna have a 6-second lead over Hernandez. But the bad thing is that he has to deal with lap traffic and Hernandez doesn't.
Yeah, and seeing, I'm not sure how long it's been since I watched a Redline Old Cup Series race here at Richmond, but from what I recall, the race leaders have been stuck in lap traffic for over 10 laps at that point. Really impossible there. He gets by Fitzwater cleanly so far, and he still has a decent enough gap between himself and Hernandez now. Lopez up to third. Duncan Ward fourth. Alfred got back down to eighth now in the 98 machine. Shane Kane up to the sixth position. Great strategy there for the 13 truck. Following up a great one there as Oswego.
He might be a short track king here. This might be his bread and butter. Got a good one at Oswego, like you said. And that's kind of a wild card with it being a dirt track, but backing up on another short track with Local Millions, one of the best right behind him. And I believe the 33 is back on the racetrack now. A dominating performance from Spy Motorsports, and I think what you are cooking is working. And I think for these drivers, the rest of the field, they gotta beat Spy if they want to win this championship. And I know it's early on, but it is looking tough for the field. Fitzwater 1 lap down. Spent Oscar 1 lap down. Jordan Stout 1 lap down. Dwani 4 lap down. And then, of course, the 9 5 laps down after his tire issue. And then a triple header. The 76, 38, and 71 all with a header issue here tonight.
I don't understand it. Well, like you were about to say, Spire Motorsports should be a good team to beat as long as reliability holds up. One driver we didn't see all race long is, if we go back to 9th place there, not Nick Lopez, that's Felicia Mendoza. Felicia Mendoza started towards the 20s. He's now up to 9th position, getting by Juan Garcia, and William Ayers as well, just outside the top 10.
Did I just see someone on pit lane? Oh no, Ben Watson just had a tire go down.
Okay.
But yeah, William Ayers, shout out to him like you said. Haven't really seen him up front here tonight, but was up front in the National Series race. I think he might have won second or third in that race, so he likes this racetrack, and he might steal top 10. But I know what's going on. Two tires, 3 engines, and we have less than 10 laps to go for Chris Jericho, and I don't know if he can breathe a sigh of relief right now, because with all the reliability and tire issues, this is far from over, even though he has a 6-second lead.
Yeah, I wouldn't celebrate too early there, considering what happened to Alexander Rowe. But as long as a caution, even if a caution comes out, he still has a pretty decent gap there. Has a couple lap cars in between. Now, we still have 6 laps to go this time by. And here comes Duncan Ward, looking to try and get second by Hernandez here late. A great run regardless for Anthony Hernandez there in the 2 for Rev Racing.
Hernandez might like Richmond. Like you said, was really strong in Season 5 in the Cup Series, and he's running strong here tonight. And if it wasn't for the Spy Trust, he would probably be in a good chance at winning this race. But those Spy Trusts are just ridiculously fast, and I think Jericho's taking it a little bit easy now and stuck behind Cables and Santee Messi, and these two were inside the top 10 at one point, and now they are 20th and 21st after pit stops. Don't turn the 9-7 there. Of course, we are at the point of no return, so this race would be official, but great one for Duncan, and I think he had a slow start, but won at Pocono last week. Gonna get at minimum 3rd, maybe 2nd here, with 3 laps to go. That would be back-to-back top 3 finishes for this 52 team.
Yeah, good run there for Duncan Ward and Jack Haas there. Duncan Ward capping off the run he had towards the end of the Krispy Kreme National Series, and the run he had to take the Wawa Cup Series title away from Daniel Barros Jr. I'm sure DPJ doesn't really want to talk about that there, But anyways, Chris Jericho getting by Santi Messi there as we go to the Powerade 1 to go.
A dominant night from Spy Motorsports. It started out with Alexander Lowe until he had a motor, and then two other issues with engines, and then two tire issues. But a dominant night, and Chris Jericho is going to become the first driver with 2 wins on the season, and he's going to win at both of the short tracks. Chris Jericho will win the Toyota Owners 250 at Richmond Raceway.
Very dominant run there for this 77 team. Should have been a 1-2 had reliability not played a factor there, but a good run regardless. Double top 10 there, and triple top 10 there looks like for Sport as well. So Sport's a team to look out for, and great run there for Hernandez, runner up there, and Felicity Mendoza in the top 10 late.
Absolutely. Even though Spas, I think the team to beat there is some really strong teams as well. Like Thorsport, like you said, local knows what he's doing with the wings, and I think he's got some really good drivers. And Nick Lopez, Avery Alford was top 5, top 8 all night. And then shout out to Shane Kane. He seems to be really good at these short tracks here with another top 10 on a short track. And then we got some of the single truck teams like Anthony Hernandez and Echo Evans Ross as the owner of Lev. You got Charles Cost, the owner of the 52 truck of Hammer of Reason, and Duncan Ward looking strong. Charlie Davenport, the owner of the 75, and Charlie of Carson Miller. And then even the 32 of Felicity Mendoza. So definitely some real strong teams this season. But I think the strongest one so far early on is by Chris Jericho's second win on the season, first 2-time winner, and he's wins at both of the short tracks. Anthony Hernandez continues his good ones at Richmond with a second place one here tonight. That's going to help him in the point standings. Duncan Ward is going to be in third, Nick Lopez in fourth, Carson Miller in fifth, Logan Williams in sixth. It's not going to help him to take the point lead from Juan Garcia, with Garcia gain 10th, but going to help him gain a little bit. Avery Alford with 7th, Shane Kane in 8th, Felicity Mendoza in 9th, Garcia in 10th. And then shout out to some of these drivers making their way up inside the top 15 late. William Ayers, and Enable, Emily York Watson, Jonathan Long. He's had a quiet season, honestly, in that William Bulls machine. And he's going to continue his strong one. And then Roberto Crown Jr. in 15th, Taven Speed in 16th. One of his better ones so far this season. He's been plagued with bad luck in that 15. Last of the point standings, cost us why Eli Bright, same with Deal, and Rose ran out the top 20 that were on the lead lap. And then no cautions here tonight, but we definitely had a lot of mechanical issues. 3 of them for headers, for Vesica, Lean, and Low. And then we had Watson and Williamson have tire issues as well. And finally, a caution-free race. It's been a few races since we've had that. And a kind normal race as well. Let's go find a Fox Matthew here for a pretty entertaining race here at Richmond. And before we get to, I believe, Nashville, the first time ever in the Powerade Truck Series next week.
Well, for Chris Jericho's sake, he is thankful that the race did go caution-free without relatively big issues there, despite all of the mechanical failures we had there. That is 5 mechanical failures. And although we are still like 6 races into the season, so I could kind of see there, but 5s, we don't really see that this early on.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen towards the end of the season in the Cup of Nationals. Saw a lot of mechanical failures, and then really in the first 6 weeks here in the Truck Series we've seen a ton. They all started at Daytona, so don't know what's been going on, but do you think the little bit of added tire wear, the second half, did play into a role in some passing? And you know what? they're going to do it again with about 2 seconds to fall off at Nashville Super Speedway next week for race number 7 on the scene. And that's only the first time ever we've been there in the Powerade Truck Series, believe it or not, here in Season 6. So, gotta see how that plays out. Nashville was a lot of fun this year in the Cup and National Series with some of the best races on the year, in my opinion. So, I'm looking forward to that one. Until next week at Nashville, I believe the AutoZone 200 or something like that. We will see you guys next week at Nashville, and congratulations to Chris Jericho on winning the Toyota Owners 250 tonight at Richmond Raceway. Points to be up in the video, and we'll see you guys next week at Nashville.